Here we go. And welcome to episode 440 of the Pittsburgh Nerd Podcast. I'm Sean.
And I'm Ian, and this is the only podcast that says,
I must not fear. Fear is a mind killer. Fear is a little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where fear is gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain.
Nice.
Little bit of Dune there for us. It's Dune weekend. It's Dune. Finally, it's Dune weekend. Oh. I won't even bury the lead. I saw it on Friday.
Did you?
Yeah, me and Nancy went to go see it out in XD, so basically an IMAX on the the larger screen. And it is glorious.
Is it?
It's really well done. Like, I tried really, really hard not to watch it as a fan.
Okay.
Like, I tried to watch it, and it's tough because, like, I'm trying not to watch it as like somebody who, like, I understand this. I'm trying to watch it as somebody who, if I'm watching this for the first time, would I get this? Would this story make sense to me?
Right.
And I couldn't do that. Like, it doesn't work that way for me, unfortunately. Like, I watched it and I thought, wow, this is a fantastic interpretation of Herbert's novel. Like, you know, it ends at a point where you say to yourself, okay, well, this ending makes sense. However, having Nancy, who, like, you know, she watched, you know, Lynch's version of Doom like in 1985 and hasn't revisited it since. She's never read the books. Like, she has no clue. Having her as a sounding board was then nice because she's like, I have questions, but for the most part, I get it.
Okay.
So Nancy, who like had like little to no clue whatsoever going into this, what it was, except it was a movie that I was excited to see, and she thought it was very interesting.
Yeah.
The general story she understood, but she did have some little questions about little things here and there. But overall, she got it.
Okay.
The Hans Zimmer soundtrack is amazing. Also, I think it's if anything, if you take anything away from it, it's a beautifully shot movie.
Okay.
Denis Villeneuve, however you pronounce his last name, shot the shit out of this. I mean, it is a gloriously shot movie. And there are little things here and there that they put in or they took out, but overall, I enjoyed the shit out of it, and I like. If it's of interest to you, I'm not saying, and that's the problem. Like, I think you should watch it.
Yeah.
Even though I know how much you hate sand, I think you should watch it because, you know, we saw the original together. We saw the Lynch version together. And even though, like, your interest wasn't piqued enough to go read the book, mine was. I think this will redeem that story for you, and you'll gain interest in it at this point.
Okay.
But overall, like, I mean, if I'll say this much, like, if you're somebody who's on the fence about, like, man, I don't know, I would highly recommend going seeing it. If you've watched the trailers and it's of no interest to you, then I'm not going to tell you should watch it.
Right.
But if you're somebody who's like, man, I don't know, you know, it seems kind of confusing. I hear, you know, there's a lot of stuff to this. It's pretty dense. It is dense. It's a dense 2.5 hours. It's a slow boiler of a movie. But at the same time, like, to me, it was the way the story has to be told. Like, it's not an action-packed first, like it's the way like the last two Harry Potter movies are. Like the first half of this story is very slow and plot driven. There's not a ton of action. The second half is where all the action is going to come into play.
Yeah.
You know what I
mean? And how many movies are they doing?
At least two. Like the Dune proper, like just the story of Dune, I think is going to take two movies. I think you can tell the second half of this with a second movie. It doesn't need a third. But then you get into like, are you going to do Dune Messiah and Children of Dune, which those two books would just probably be a movie each.
Yeah.
I mean, depends on how far, like Herbert only did the 3 books, I think. I think he did Dune Messiah and Children of Dune, and that was it. And I think anything else has been done after that has been done by like his son and Kevin J. Anderson.
Okay.
And but I think those 3, if that's like the holy trinity of Dune books, I think if you just go with those 3, you've got something, a nice little franchise.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad you liked it.
I'm glad I did too. I'm glad I enjoyed it. Like I mean, it's tough. Like I knew I was going to, because like at this point, like I can appreciate the Lynch version. I can go back and watch the Lynch version and like it. Only because I can fill in all the blanks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the key to it. Is like I have the knowledge that I can say, oh shit, yeah, okay, this should have been in here, and I get why this is happening now, and all that stuff, because I have all that information is not being presented to you. Like, it's a movie. If you're watching this is a movie where if you're watching it at home, you have to put your phone down. Because you have to pay attention, because a lot of information is given to you. The exposition is given to you in conversations. Like, little things here and there are explaining what is actually going on, but you have to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. And to do that, you have to pay attention.
Right.
Because, the question becomes like, okay, well, why does this happen at the end? Like, this doesn't make, like, well, it does if you understand what's really going on. And I don't want to ruin it, because I feel like there's a lot of people out there who listen to the show who've never read the book. Right. And maybe the only thing I've seen is the Lynch movie. And that's their only point of reference. And so like, I don't want to ruin it by giving away like, well, this is X, Y, and Z that's happening. But like, if anybody like watches and they have like a question, like, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like all the answers are there if you pay close enough attention to the movie. And like when I kind of pointed that out to Nancy, I'm like, well, this is important because all the way back in the first half hour of the movie, the Duke and Paul are having this conversation, and he kind of explains it there. And so at the end of the movie, when you see this, it's like, oh, okay, well that makes sense, and I understand what he's saying now. Like it's all there.
Right.
It's just especially if you're somebody who's just like, I'm not going to go to a theater to see someone watching HBO Max. Put down your phone and give it your full attention, because by the end of the movie, there are going to be references back to the first half hour, the first 10 minutes. Like it all is one thing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. And I wanted to watch it again last night, but my stomach had other plans for me. Yeah. So unfortunately, I will watch it. I'll probably watch it tonight. Like I got like a half hour into it. I'm like, okay, this is gonna happen. So after this, and once we're up this all up, I'll probably watch it tonight.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So you've been a busy fella.
Yeah, it's been a weird week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had to work the weekend, and I was just Saturday and worked the end of the week, so
Yeah.
I was tired.
Oh, I'm sure.
Busy working.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just came into my head, man. I got home and I was like, I'll sit here for a second. And I didn't even turn on the TV. I was just like out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, I haven't really done hardly anything.
Yeah. I had a busy few days. Like I took 4 days off. Not 4 days. I had 2 days off this week. So I had like a 4-day weekend. And like Thursday, I spent like my morning putting away like all the lawn furniture.
Yeah.
For the winter. It's like taking that down to the basement and stuff like that. Which was, that's no fun. And Friday we went to go see Dune. And yesterday, we got Ahsoka's remains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was a rough one. Getting the urn and stuff. And I mean, it's goofy. I mean, it's a cat. I get it, but still, like, especially for Nancy. I mean, that was her cat. That was her soul.
Yeah.
But they did a good job. I mean, we went through Striffler's, their Beloved Pet Services, it's called.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a ripoff. I mean, anything like this is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, they treated us very well. The guy, I think his name was Edward. I can't remember. I think it's Ed. He treated us very well. He was like when we went in to get to take her there, like he recognized the name Ahsoka. He knew we were Star Wars fans, and they called up me Friday while we were in the theater.
Yeah.
So like when I got out of the theater, I'm like looking like, well, this is a 678 number. That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't get many calls from the 678, area.
Yeah.
So I looked and my voicemail had the text, and I was like, oh shit. So I called them back. Like I was like, we just got out of a movie, so I don't. He's like, oh okay. Well, what's a good time tomorrow? I'm like, noon. We'll come at noon. Perfect. Yeah. So when we got there yesterday, he asked us what movie. Like a 10-minute conversation with him about Dune, which was nice. Like so that was kind of cool.
There you go.
Yeah. Hopefully I converted him. Nancy, like, it's like funny. Like the first weekend we went, like when the weekend Ahsoka passed, Nancy like offhandedly, like, cause we were like talking, like, he's like, she was like, oh, he's got like superhero checks, and I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt. She's wearing her Ahsoka Tano shirt because of Ahsoka passing. We name our cats after Star Wars characters and shit. And she's like, oh yeah, he's the host of the Pittsburgh Nerd Podcast. And I'm like looking at her like thanks for plug. Like you said it like in a way like he should know what the Pittsburgh Nerd Podcast is. Like I'm sure he's never fucking heard of it, And she like said it like so often, like, oh yeah, he's the host of the Pittsburgh Nerd. I'm sure you listen. You're well aware. I'm like, yeah. Well, I'll give it a try. I'm like, oh yeah. Not around mixed company. It is not safe for funeral homes.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so that was yesterday. That was like my weekend. It was like it's a busy weekend. Today was like the only day. Like even today, like I went, I had to go food shopping.
Yeah.
And
I did lay in mulch. Amongst the break in the clouds.
Yeah.
Not today, but during the week.
Yeah. That's the other funny thing. Like, like 2 weeks ago, it was like 75 degrees with 1,000% humidity.
Yeah.
Like I was still like running my air conditioner to like,
Yeah.
you know, not that it was hot, but it was like it was so damn sticky, you know.
Right.
But like all of a sudden it's like 52 degrees and rain.
Yeah.
Like
We've hit
it's like,
this rain.
yeah,
It just won't let up. I mean, it's been raining for like 6 days now, 5 days.
yeah,
Something like that.
yeah, like all weekend.
Jesus. Yeah.
Like
Tornadoes.
Thursday,
What the
Thursday, I got
fuck?
this stuff in, and like it was like immediately after I got the stuff in, it was like thunder, lightning, and the sky
Yeah.
broke open. I'm like,
Who has tornadoes in like end of October?
yeah, I don't live in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I know.
Damn water in the Mon isn't cool yet. It's still boiling.
The Mon's giving us
Yeah.
what do you call it? The Monongahela Hill is having an environmental impact.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The warm water off the Mon, the cool air. Sure it does something. Ask Bubby Brister.
Huh?
Ask Bubby Brister. He'll tell you.
If we ever have a zombie apocalypse, brother, it's gonna come straight from the Mon.
Yeah.
First thing.
Well, I love Portview Fire Department now has like a river rescue team
Yeah.
with like divers and everything. Like, I mean, they went all out. Like the shit that they're doing. Like they've got a submersible drone and everything.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. And I'm just thinking to myself, man, if I was still a part of that fire department, you couldn't put me anywhere near that fucking boat. I ain't going in that Mon. You know, I can walk across the yacht, but I ain't going in that fucking Mon. You know, they were doing dive training today off of down in Elizabeth. No, we ain't.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
I don't even like catching fish out of the Mon.
No.
What fish? No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, like, I don't even like taking it. I don't even like touching the water.
No.
I'm serious. I probably haven't fished the Mon, and well, I threw a couple of casts in down at Glassport, but I just don't do it. I don't know.
No, I don't blame you. I wouldn't.
It's just filthy.
Yeah.
Everything's so filthy on that river. It is. I don't know what it is. Any place, anywhere to fish, it's just filthy. Yacht's not like that.
I went fishing one time, like down there at the mouth of the Youghiogheny where it connects to the Mon. That felt nasty.
We're down on 10th Ward.
Yeah, like down in that area, like right down there.
Yeah.
Like under the bridge and shit. I was just like, oh, this feels dirty.
Right.
I don't like this. I'm going a few miles down the road.
Yeah, it's sketchy down there. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it was like half of it.
Yeah, you just, when you get up further up the yacht,
gonna shank me.
Yeah, you get further up the yacht, you don't worry so much about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But
get up by the old train bridge.
Yeah, you're more worried about wildlife, not wild idiots.
Yeah.
You got $2, man? No. Nope.
Look, I got nothing, man.
Yeah. I only use card, brother.
Sorry, man. I only got plastic.
It's like the hustle all over Pittsburgh.
I
you got
know.
$2, man? I saw one dude. Where was I? I don't know if I was in White Oak or I don't remember where I was at. Homestead, maybe? I don't know. He came out of somewhere and he was like, "You got $2, man. You know, wife kicked me out. Look at these shoes, man. I got to catch the bus." I'm like, "That's a shame, man." I said, I did. I get out of the store. I was like, "That's a shame, man. I only carry a card, but I hope your day gets better." I did.
Yeah.
I said that to him. I hope your day gets better, sir. And it sloughed. I was like, I've been growing up with that.
It never fails. They're
like,
stranded in McKeesport, but they're like from like Greensburg or something, and they're just trying to get home.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get a jitney to take me home. Sorry, buddy.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah. That's
it's
what we
like sometimes going through, not just McKeesport, but a lot of times McKeesport. It always seemed like, and you work there, so you know more than anybody. Yeah. But it's like, I'm telling you, it's like that opening scene in an airplane.
Yeah.
Not the opening scene, but when he's trying to get through all the, the Hare Krishnas and these religious groups, and he's like fighting them and stuff. That's how I feel sometimes when you get on it. It's no, I just want to get my gas and get the fuck out of here.
They are building at the bottom of Hartman, like where that, like across the street from, they're building a Get-Go where that car wash used to be. I told Nancy I will still drive up to the one on 30 before I ever use that one because of the riffraff. It'll be down there.
Yeah. Speedway gets kind of sketched down there too. Now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I hate going to that. In fact, I don't unless it's like I just for some ungodly reason like have to. I refuse to stop at that Speedway there. Every time I stop at that Speedway there, I'm getting a panhandler who's giving me the sob story about like, yeah, man, I'm from Stowe Rocks, man. I'm just trying to get a jitney home.
Or
I just need $2. I don't know what jitney's taking you to Stowe Rocks for $2, but
or there's police presence.
Yeah. There's police presence. There's a panhandler who's trying to hit me up because he's trying to go home. And, the place is just like, I'm standing in line to pay a bill. Like, I'm going in there, like, I'm going to get myself a snack and something to drink. And I've got to wait in line while 3 different people are buying their wraps for their weed.
Just people.
They're asking what flavors do you have?
And people don't even look happy to be working there.
No,
they're just like, deer in the headlights, like 24/7. I don't know. I don't know. It's just where was I the other day? I was up by you, and there's a Sunoco right before you turn in up onto White Oak, past Blooms.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That sketchy one that we assume is a front. We talked about that place before.
Did we?
Yeah, we always talk about how sketchy that one and the one up by the airport that's got the bad smell going back towards the bathrooms.
Oh,
that's 7-Eleven. Yeah, that's horrible. But we talked about that. It's like that sketchy one down there.
Right before you going toward Nigros.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can make a right there and go up by the Legion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went in there. And I think I was taking Ellie to dance class. And I went in there, and it never fails that it was some out-of-towner, or not even an out-of-towner. I don't even know where he was from. But he was getting gas, and then they had to play the numbers. And I'm late. I'm not late, but it's going to make me late.
Yeah.
And
they're dropping $20, and they've got specific numbers. Like you can't even do the randomizer, so the spits out a ticket. No, you got specific numbers. You got to play your great aunt's birthday.
Yeah, but then there's communication issues between the two, and then he messed up the numbers. And then just when you think it's over,
yeah, then they need cigarettes.
No, he needed smokes and he needed blunts, right?
Yeah.
But he can only have a certain kind of blunt, and he gave him other blunts, and they weren't wood tip blunts. And then he said, "No, man, I don't want these. I want the wood tip." I mean, I get it. I mean, your preference to smoke, but I mean, it was just this whole fiasco.
Yeah, you're sitting there for 15 fucking minutes.
Yeah, and it says like, this isn't convenient.
No.
Like I'm late. I'm literally 3 minutes away from getting her to dance, and I have to wait for all this. And I'm like, holy shit! Play your lottery separately. You can do it on your own, right at the machine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But now you got to jump in the car like Dom Toretto.
Yeah, it's like the cannonball run all the way down the fucking dance class.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's like flying. Ellie's like looking at me like, well, I mean, like, I don't know what else to say. I'm not mad. I'm out of time. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not. I'm not driving angry. It's just, I had to wait like 10 minutes for someone to pick out what they wanted, and it was a nightmare.
Now I've got to go 90 miles an hour for the next 3 miles.
Yeah, I mean, if you could have seen my face.
Oh, I can imagine.
I look just like Eddie Murphy from Trading Spaces.
Yeah.
When you said that line.
Yeah.
Like, what did he say? What was it? Pork belly. Like you would find in a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. In that face right after he said that.
Yeah.
That's my face in line. And 3 minutes in, that's it. That was my face. It was unbelievable. If the rain sneezes.
Oh, worse. The fuck.
I don't understand all this rain. It's gonna be like that winter we had where it rained from like October to May.
Yeah. Oh
my god. Never seen so much rain in the winter in my life.
Yeah, that was like the creeks were so fucking high.
Yeah, because it just kept raining. It never stopped raining.
Never stopped raining.
Months.
Yeah.
Months. And it was just stated that it's just stayed this cold.
Yeah.
Or under. Like right above freezing where it's not going to snow. Like
40 degrees.
Yes.
And just
fucking miserable.
Rain.
Yeah. That was one of the worst winters I've ever been through.
Yeah, it was so fucking miserable that year.
I mean, if we would have had snow, we'd have looked like Vale.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It would have been like you'd be driving through tunnels of snow.
It was sick.
It'd be packed. It'd be like stacked so high on the sides of the road.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Jesus. Might have to pause here for a second.
Okay.
Just a heads up. I'll let you know.
Okay. It's coming. The big one's coming.
It's just hard to blow my nose here in a second.
Yeah.
Having like an allergy attack.
Yeah. Again. Bless. Huh?
All in the name of podcasting.
All in the name of podcasting. That's right. These are the sacrifices we make, people. Sacrifices other people make. We forgot. I'm not even going to forget. I mean, we're only a half hour into the show. And we're finally getting around to, I want to thank Todd Wolfson.
Yeah.
Being on the show last week. Only a half hour in. Fuck him. But no, he was a great guest last week. And we want to thank again our good friends at the Nerd Corner for hosting us. As Ian sneezes yet a fucking again.
Yeah, let's take a break real quick.
Let's take a break. Yeah, I'll come back and I'll do my thank yous. Good Lord. Okay. Feel better?
Holy hell.
Yeah.
See, like 6 more times.
Jeez.
I did on Friday. My days are all mixed up because I don't even know where I'm at. That's what happens when I work on the weekend. It's like
everything gets fucked up. I know.
Yeah. I went to a concert.
Oh, okay.
On Friday down at AE.
Uh-huh.
Angels and Airwaves.
Okay.
It's what's his name? Lead singer from Blink.
Nah, you got me.
Anyway, it's really good. I mean, it was the first time I've ever been down there. Inside, you know what I mean?
I thought you'd been to shows at Stage AE before.
Not inside.
Oh, okay.
Just outside.
I didn't know there was a difference.
Tom DeLonge. Yeah, there's a difference. I mean, there's the outdoor stage and everything like that, but inside, I wouldn't say it's as big as AE on the outside of AE, but on the inside, it was pretty nice. I mean, it could pack some people in there. Then they had a bar section. Then they have a balcony section. Yeah. Of course, we didn't get balcony tickets or anything like that, but sound was incredible. It was a great show. I mean, this is the first show I've been to, for a long time, since Iron Maiden, I think.
Yes, and before March of 2020.
Yeah, but man, was it good? I mean, like, real good. Sound was incredible.
That's good.
Yeah, so but there's a nerd twist to it too. I don't know if you've heard of this guy. So he's the lead singer of Blink for years. And Blink songs. I know you say no, but you've heard them.
I'm sure I have, but I couldn't, like, if you played one for me, I'd be like, yeah, I've heard it, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
Yeah, it's an old band, but he is big on this alien research and uncovering truth and all this crap.
Yeah.
A lot of money and like time is spent on this alien research, UFO kind of stuff.
Right.
And there was a couple documents released from the government that proof of the UFO. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah.
But he was partly behind that, so he's like huge on that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I mean, he talked a little bit about it at the show, but then mostly it was just music. But the music's actually really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say that it's like, I used to always say it was like, it's like a grown-up version of Blink, but it's not. It's different. I mean, his drummers, his bassist, I think, came from the Killers. You've heard the Killers.
Yeah.
The drummer came from 9 Inch Nails, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The 10. And then I think the other guitarist is from The Used, maybe? I don't know. But it's a really good band. I mean, it's like, I wouldn't say. I mean, if we were in the 80s, we'd call it a super group. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's really good, and his singing was on point. And I've heard a lot of stuff like Blink Live isn't very good. I mean, they're good, but it's not like his voice suffers,
Yeah.
And this was like album quality sound that was coming out from him. It was like really good. Maybe because he's writing in his own range. I don't know, but it was great. So the crowd was okay. The crowd was actually pretty good. It was just we happened to be standing next to some drunks that was just like, man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to move.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't stand next to you anymore.
Yeah.
Bumping into me.
That's the worst.
Yeah, it's just like, give me a break, dude. It was bad,
Sounds it.
but just that part. But it was a good show.
Okay,
Highly recommend.
I'm glad you
Children,
enjoyed it. I'm glad you went to one.
especially live. It was the sound was it was amazing. So I was pretty impressed.
How were you? Like, I mean, you had the experience with the drunks, but like, how were you being in a crowd?
Not well. I mean, I wore my mask the entire time, and I had my sanitizer and everything.
Yeah,
But I said at one point they were just getting. I needed open space,
yeah,
and I found that toward the back of the venue.
yeah,
Um, if this was summer or whatever, lawn seats would be a blessing to me.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I just had to find open space there.
right.
It was just too. I couldn't pack it in like that.
Yeah,
But I think at the same point, I was like, maybe I'm just too old for this shit. You know what I mean?
that is a part of it. I mean, as
Yeah.
weird as that sounds.
The two opening bands, like they had two opening bands too. And when we first got there, we were pretty close.
Yeah,
I'd say 4 rows back.
Yeah.
Standing room only 4 rows.
right.
And first opening band was really good. I wish I could remember the name, but I can't. And so that band played, and I like that first band. It was pretty good. It was kind of raw. It was, it was good though. Good sound. Yeah. Second band came on. They were the more popular of the two. I mean, the two openers.
Right.
And I was just like, I couldn't get into it. I was just like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's doing like this George Jefferson shuffle while he's singing. And I was like, and it's supposed to be rock, but it's like,
Yeah,
it sounds really, really 80s-ish to me.
yeah,
And it was just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like I just couldn't get into it. And then, it started packing in. And I was like, okay, we got to go. I mean, I got to go.
Yeah.
I said, told the girls, I was like, I have to get in the back. There's just too many people around me. Because at that point, it was from the front. I mean, you're like, it's packed. But for me, I was uncomfortable. I had a couple points, but once I got into open space, I was okay.
Yeah.
Plus, I had to work the next day. That's part of the reason why I'm tired today. Because I didn't get home till after 12.
Yeah, I'm going to say you're probably 12, between 12 and 1.
Yeah, and what we did was we went down to, I drove down to First Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
The prison is for Pittsburgh. I mean, or people who live around Pittsburgh. And then I parked in that garage right there.
Yeah.
And then parked in that garage and took the T down.
Okay.
The T is free from First Avenue all the way to wherever you want to go, North Side or wherever you want to go in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty easy. I actually was. We had to walk like a block and a half, I think, just to get to AE, but it was completely worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of fighting traffic down there and paying $15 or $20 to park, I just took the T. We took the T for $6, or not even that, parked for $6 total, and then the T was free.
Yeah.
So it was completely worth it to me. I love the T, dude. For those people who don't know, that's like Pittsburgh Subway.
It's Pittsburgh version of the Subway.
Yeah, but it was nice, man. I loved it.
Here was something interesting I was thinking about the other day. We refer to Heinz Field and PNC Park as like the new stadiums. They're 20 years old this year.
Right.
But people are still like, the new stadium. But Three Rivers Stadium was 30 years old when it was tore down. 31 years old when it was tore down.
Right.
So we're like 10 years away from that. Do you see, like, especially like when you look now at how stadiums are being built today. Like I look at Jerry World in Dallas. I look at SoFi Stadium. I look at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium down there in Atlanta. You know, these stadiums with these massive scoreboards and all the amenities and stuff. Do you see, like, I don't think they'll ever I think PNC Park is here to stay. I think it's built to last.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, but do you see like maybe the Steelers like in 10 years saying like, yeah, we need to build a new stadium?
I don't know.
Because you've been to Heinz Field recently, so like you got a better feel for it than I do. Like when I was there like 10 years ago, like I felt like there's no like I'm a no frills guy when I go to a sporting event. I don't need all the extra bullshit.
Yeah,
I just want to watch a game.
Right, but I think Heinz Field is bare bones like that. Like,
it is.
I don't, unless they want to upgrade to more. See, I don't know, because I haven't been to another stadium outside Heinz Field, so I don't know really or even looked at pictures of other stadiums. I mean, at some point during Heinz Field in some upper sections, they're just bleachers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
that closed in end zone, like when you go all the way up to the top, like that section up there, that's not about bleachers. Like there's no comfortable seating up there.
No, it's not. And I mean, it is pretty basic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, it is basic. It's plain Jane, even when you get outside the not vendors, but, snack area, whatever you want to call it, the concessions.
The concourses.
Yeah, I mean, those are all just bare bones either. Unless you're in, like, luxury seating, or you have, there's box sections, or the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Fame, but the Hall of
Heroes, or whatever they call it.
Legends, or whatever it's called. That's nice, But you think, when you walk into that one part, you're like, oh, it's all like this. No.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not very cushy at all. Now, the opposite is at PNC. When you walk up there and get up on top of those escalators, it's like you feel like you've been transported to like 1930 going to watch Ruth.
Right.
I mean, it's just the way the signage is. It's the way the vendors are. It's just the whole.
The architecture is meant to instill that.
Yeah, it's that low ceiling
era.
You know what I mean? It's like that low ceiling effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just it's so personal when you sit in your seats at a baseball game.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's great.
PNC Park is like, I think it's 35,000 people for seating, which is like perfect for Pittsburgh baseball.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, when they were at Three River Stadium, I mean, that was 65,000 people, and that felt cavernous for a baseball game. Like it felt too big.
Yeah.
PNC feels much more intimate, and I think it's built to last. Like this is meant to be a stadium that they play in for the next 50 years. It's built in a way that it's constant. They can evolve it with modern times, but yet still keep that bygone era feel.
Yeah, it doesn't feel too big at all.
Yeah.
Even when there's not many people there, it still doesn't feel like too big.
But at the same time, like you can't do to a baseball field what they're doing with football fields now. Like I said, I bring up like SoFi Stadium that just opened last year, and Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas that opened last year. So they're really opening to the public this year. You look at those stadiums, and even like I said, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, like they have those massive scoreboards that go from like end zone to end zone, and they're like circles. So like if you're looking below, you're looking up into the circle to see the information or the replays, and like it's this and it has just all these like amenities and like SoFi, while it technically has a roof, is considered an outdoor stadium because it doesn't have any sides. Like they had like a lightning delay because like, you know, they don't, it's not an indoor stadium even though it has a roof, which is like weird.
Yeah.
So that like it has all these amenities that like make the football watching experience more exciting, quote unquote. But then I look at like Heinz Field and like, you're right. It's like, it feels very bare bones, which to me is fine. Like I don't need all those amenities,
Right.
you know, but yet I wonder if in 10 years, you know, you reach a point where you say, well, this stadium is outdated. We need to build a new one.
Right.
Like football stadium, other than Lambeau Field, football stadiums don't hold charm.
Right.
You know, college football stadiums do, but I think that's just a college football thing. And I think, I mean, that's mostly in the South. Like other than like Notre Dame and like the Big House in Michigan or the, you know, or, you know, and even Columbus is like, you know, they used to just be a horseshoe that they, you know, now it's not, but they still call it the shoe. I mean, there are places like, for the most part, like, you know, college football stadiums are kind of like interchangeable, you know, but like in pro football, like other than like Lambeau Field, like stadiums don't hold charm, like, you know.
Right. I think with Pittsburgh, it's mostly on the outside versus what's on the inside.
Yeah.
Like it's all that shit on the outside and the tailgaters and then the way the grounds are kept, and because it looks good from the outside.
Yeah.
But it's pretty bare bones once you get on the inside.
Yeah.
To me. As with PNC, I mean, I love how the PNC looks like it's just dropped in the middle of a city, and that's exactly how Forbes Field was.
Right.
But the way they built up, you know, the North Shore like that, it is kind of in its own little city. Yeah. It's like, it's weird. Like you're walking down the street and there's businesses and all this stuff and everything's like, looks newer, but yet has that old Pittsburgh city look.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, it's just built up there now. And then all of a sudden, oh, there's the entrance to the, you know, there's the entrance to the right stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, wow, Jonas Wagner. You know what I mean? Like it's, and the way they've designed it down, they did a really good job at the North Shore. They really designed it pretty well.
Right.
I mean, parking is still atrocious, but.
Right. I mean, that's the major problem. You went from having all this space to park at to, well, we need to build this up. And so they build it up and now there's no place to park.
Right.
Which is like a weird thing that, like, I think other people are like, well, that's just what happens. But like, you don't understand, this is Pittsburgh. Like, you know, people want to park at the stadium. They want to tailgate at the stadium. They want to walk to the end of the stadium from, like, you know, drinking a barrel of beer.
Right.
And now you can't do that anymore because it's all buildings and restaurants and bars, and like the real tailgaters are like,
they have Gold Lot.
Yeah.
They pay a pretty price for that.
Yeah. You're paying a premium price for that. And everybody else is like scattered around the North Shore.
Yeah. Like at the Clark building or something. Like tailgating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, which I guess it would bother me more if I was younger. Now I'm comfortable with just taking the tee down. Yeah. Because I mean, like literally the tee lets you off right there pretty much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll pay that price of like, well, even cheaper when you're, you know, in town. But, you know, if I go to games, I usually catch the tee in like Whitehall, that area. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like Baltimore.
Yeah.
I'll catch it, or not Whitehall. I don't even know what it is down there. But I mean, like near there. I mean, we're 5 minutes away from Whitehall.
Yeah.
And pay my $5 or whatever.
Yeah, Bethel Park
to get my tickets. Yeah. And then literally, the tee literally lets you off like right next to the stadium.
Right. Yeah, I know where I remember when they were building that station and the tunnel underneath and everything.
Yeah, I mean it's beautiful, and
Yeah.
so like it eliminates, um, it eliminates that just fighting that goddamn traffic at Steeler games. Now, when I
Yeah.
went to PNC, I didn't have that at all.
Yeah.
Like I literally I parked right up the street. Not even up the street. I mean, like, you know where the Honus Wagner statue is.
Yeah.
Literally, I parked a half a block on the left and I got a parking space for like $6.
Yeah.
And it was a night game.
Yeah.
Now, if
Well, I
they're
mean,
meeting and stuff, you're not going to get
yeah.
that.
The difference is 10,000 people are showing up to a Pirate game.
Yeah.
60,000 people are showing up for a Steeler game.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I remember.
Yesterday for the Pitt game, there was about 50,000 people there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they actually filled that stadium up a bit but I mean,
Wow.
it was Clemson. Clemson was in town.
Yeah.
As a nationally televised game against even though they weren't ranked, it's still fucking Clemson. It's Dabo Sweeney, Clemson. So they actually filled that stadium up. I was impressed by that. But
yeah, it was work. I saw all the fans.
Yeah.
Like up at the peak, because I think they pick them up in buses and take them down to the game.
Take the kids down to the game there. Yeah.
I still think Pitt is its own stadium, but it works for them.
I agree with you. Like I think Pitt should have their own stadium. I don't know where you put it. That's the problem.
Yeah, there's nowhere to put it.
There's nowhere to put it. So I understand why they don't have one, but I mean it's like that situation of like, because I mean they tore down Pitt Stadium to put up the Peterson Event Center, and in all honesty, that was probably the better decision.
Yeah,
because the Peter Event Center is glorious.
It is.
But I mean, it's just the problem is, I mean, again, they're a team that they should have a stadium that seats like 40,000 people, and they're in a stadium that seats 65,000 people.
Right.
So when they're drawing 30, it looks half empty.
Yeah, it looks like no one's going to the game.
Yeah, you look around, you see a lot of yellow seats, which is my concern, because I mean they're like we want to rock the Royal. They wanted to do like a blue out. And
right.
I was thinking to myself, oh man, it's gonna look bad if nobody shows up for this fucking game. There'll be packed blue and like all this yellow everywhere, but luckily, it looked like it was a pretty good crowd.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad that some people went down there.
Yeah,
it just always looks so bare. I mean, I think in contrast, like there's so many Steeler fans that go to games.
Yeah.
Even when it's not like sold out, quote, it still looks full. You know what I mean? Well, and a lot of times the games are sold out. A lot of times the games are sold out, but people just don't go to the game or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, every Steeler game is sold out. Like, that they are sold out.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like,
right. It's just a matter of how many no-shows do you have. And in all honesty, even if the Steelers stink, like there are people who like still go see that game.
Oh yeah.
Like people are like, hey, you want my tickets? Yeah, you want I'll go to a fucking. I don't care if they stink. I'll go see them. That's Steelers.
Right.
Pitt. Pitt's nationally ranked. When if you got Miami coming next week, Miami stinks. Nobody's gonna go see that game. Next week they'll be back to 30,000 people in that stadium.
Right.
But
you look at the stadiums that barely have anybody in them.
Yeah.
Our season tickets are always sold, and our seats are usually sold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's still football.
Yeah. Like Steelers, it's a sellout, but 10,000 people no show.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I mean, that's just whatever. You bought your ticket.
Yeah.
It's not like we're a Pitt game. It's like they've sold. If they sell 40,000 tickets and 10,000 people no show, it looks awful.
Yeah, it does.
So
It does.
that's the difference.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I don't know if they'll make a new one or not. I don't see why they would. I mean,
The only reason
I don't know what improvements you can make to it. You know what I mean?
the only reason I asked a question is because it's one of those situations where, like, you and I, we don't care that Heinz Field is bare bones. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not there for the amenities. I'm there for the game on the field.
Yeah.
But, in the next 10 years, a younger generation of fans are going to be the season ticket holders. And that younger generation of fans, they want more than just watching a game on the field.
Right.
And so how do you...
I don't know.
Like,
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I think Heinz Field still has that college vibe to it. That college level vibe. Does that make sense? Like, it's just bare bones. It's not
right,
meant to.
Right, but like our generation, which are like probably the majority of the season ticket holders, Gen X is probably the majority of the season ticket holders at this point. Okay. And we grew up in an era of, I'm here just to watch the game.
Right.
I think we're at a point like hey, if you want to give me Wi-Fi, that's awesome. I'm sure, but I feel like the next generation of fans that's coming up that are going to be those season ticket holders, that they're the generation that's going to be like, I need Wi-Fi because I'm gambling on my phone. They're not just there for the game. They're there for much more than the game. And those amenities are something that, can Heinz Field produce that?
I don't know the answer to that.
No, neither do I. But I wonder, because it's like, I feel like PNC Park, they're not, and the more important, like, so where do you put that stadium then? Because like you've built up the North Shore, there's no place where you can build a new stadium after tearing down. You know what I mean? Like at the time, like Heinz Field was built, and Three River Stadium was there. It was all parking lots.
Right.
So it wasn't that big of a deal to build Heinz Field next to the Three River Stadium. Now there's nowhere to build a new stadium in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm still surprised they didn't put the ice rink down there. I am, to have the trifecta down there, but that way you had sports all year round.
Yeah, in that area.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm kind of glad consoles, were whatever it's called now, is where it's at.
Yeah, I think that's tradition. Yeah, they built that across the street from the old Civic Arena.
Yeah, but I like the fact that it's in town.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get to. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, much more easier than...
It's easy to get out of.
Yeah.
For some reason. It's the only place in sports that I've been to where it's pretty much easy to get to, and it's easy to get out.
Yeah.
Because there's so many ways to go home.
Yeah.
And there's good access for people that live to the north and the south.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
It's pretty easy to get out of there.
Yeah.
That's a nice rink too. It doesn't hold the charm of the arena, but it's modern.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It serves its purpose.
Yeah. It doesn't have the, aluminum sheets in the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
People pound. I mean, and I don't think it gets loud in there, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't get as loud as the Civic Arena used to.
No,
that place used to fucking shake.
Yeah. And I mean, the dome, with the metal dome, with the way it held the sound and everything. I mean, yeah, that's a whole thing that was the charm of the Civic Arena, or the Mellon Arena, if you will.
But I like the new place. It's nice.
Yeah.
If we're talking about Pittsburgh sports venues.
Yeah.
And Peterson's nice too, I'd say.
I like what they've done with the remodel, like especially like behind the pit bench, like they took those like club seats out, whatever those fucking things were. I mean, they've redone it. I mean, it's evolved rather nicely. But like even when I was going to games 10, 11 years ago,
Uh-huh.
I mean, luckily I got to go to games that were like Pitt was like phenomenally good, like top 5 nationally.
Yeah,
And that place was just rocking.
Well, they kind of this summer, well, in fall, they redid all the marble floors.
Yeah.
In the front.
Yeah.
Like all that was been redone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taken forever.
Yeah.
But they've redone the entire floor base when you go in. All that marble.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all done. It has a big, huge Pitt script.
Yeah.
Right across, like inlaid into the marble. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, when the place was initially built, it was like, I think it had like the Panther logo that they used at the time.
Yeah.
But
this isn't like the old school Pitt script.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What they've gone back to, thank God.
Yeah, inlaid into the floor, into the marble flooring. And it's not like blue or anything. It's like an off yellow. Like it's almost like a cream color. It's not like blazing, you know what I'm saying? It's like a cream color. You know what I mean? It's like very subtle, but yeah, you can see it. It's huge, but it's nice. I mean, it looks gorgeous.
I even liked, and I was surprised, but like I shouldn't have been, that they did this for Pitt, because they do this every once in a while for Pitt. They actually put like the current, like that Panther logo that they're using now. Yeah. They had that at the 50-yard line, and then in the end zone, the open end zone, they actually had Panthers written in script.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was like really nice. It looked really nice for like a nationally televised game. Like instead of like just like what they used to do is just like put like a white circle at the 50-yard line and like have like Pitt written there, like in like the script Pitt, because like you could just tell they were just like painting over the Steeler logo.
Yeah.
And making it easy to just paint back over it for the Steelers. But like this was like nice. It looked really nice. I was like, they went all out for a nationally televised game. I was like, I appreciated that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And we won.
Yeah, they won. 27-17.
Not a bad record now, huh?
What, they're 6-1.
Are they?
Yeah.
I knew they were up there, but
yeah, they're ranked 17th in the AP, I think.
Really? That's not bad.
It's amazing, like I mean, it is. Like, I hate to say this because it's like, as a Pitt fan, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna play Miami. Miami's won 3 games all year, I think, and they're like I'm just waiting. Like they're just like they'll just blow it against Miami. But they're in a position where they could win the ACC. Like there's no dominant team in the ACC right now. Like Clemson for the past 6 years has been this dominant force, and there's no dominant force. So, and like, I don't know when it happened, but all of a sudden Kenny Pickett became an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, and I've watched Kenny Pickett for 4 years.
Yeah.
And like he's always been like, oh, he's okay for a college quarterback. He's not phenomenal. He's not great. This year, he's fucking phenomenal. He's hitting guys in stride. He is throwing dimes. It's like amazing to watch. And it's like, what the fuck happened with this kid? Like all of a sudden, he went from being like hey, maybe this guy could get drafted in the NFL and have like a good career as a backup to like, he is going to be probably a first-round draft pick now.
Right.
Like he's Joe Burrow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's just like, what the fuck? Good for him. I'm happy for him. But it's still like, it's amazing because like I've watched his career and I never saw this coming.
It's nuts, right?
Yeah.
And we were having this conversation.
I know, neither can I.
About Pitt.
Yeah.
Winning.
I know. Trust me. I'm looking at their schedule. I'm going, none of these teams scare me, but every single one of them scares me. Like,
yeah, in the back of your head, yes.
Like any other team, you'd be like, oh, they're going to run the table. And for me, I'm like, well, they should run the table, but this is Pitt. So,
All right. And who did they play? Not who they played, but Penn State lost to Illinois or something like that?
Well, that was at home to Illinois. Yeah, in 9 overtimes.
That's bad.
Awful.
Unless Illinois is that good.
No. Illinois, I think, that goes their second win of the season.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I bet it got pretty dreary up in Penn State after that one.
It's that thing, though, of like, I don't know. Like, that was talking about, and I agreed with him at the time, like when we had the first Nerd Corner show and we were at Luch's afterwards, he was talking about like, man, we could go into Columbus and beat Ohio State. We've got a chance this year. Like at that time, he was like really, really excited about like Penn State's chances. And like, and it made sense. I mean, they were like, completely just destroying people. But like now, like, I hear people talking about like, they could lose the rest of the games this season. I'm like, wow, that's a shocking turnaround.
Yeah.
Isn't
that weird?
It is.
Coming from that powerhouse?
Well, but like it's that thing of like, okay, you and I, like we look at Penn State and we perceive them as this like powerhouse. But the reality in national college football, the reality is they're not.
Wow, they're bigger than most.
They're bigger than, they're a top 10, top 15 team. Like that's what their aspirations should be. Like Pitt's like the way college football is nowadays, it's like, either you're the upper echelon or you're just an also-ran.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those top 4 seeds, I mean, it's Bama, it's Georgia, it's Oklahoma. Cincinnati right now is like the wild card because they're probably going to run the table in the AAC. They're going to win their conference. They're the number 2 team in the country right now. They should be in that conversation, but somebody's going to force them out. Like, college football just doesn't want them there.
Yeah.
College football wants Bama. They want Georgia. They want Oklahoma. They want Ohio State. That's who they want.
Yeah.
They set the table for those teams.
Right.
And here's little old Cincinnati, who, by the way, in my opinion, is probably one of the top 4 teams in the country. But like, you have to ask yourself that question. Okay, if I put Cincinnati against Georgia, does Cincinnati keep it close?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's the question you have to ask yourself when like you talk about like this other 5 conferences. And even like a Pitt, like if Pitt hadn't lost at Western Michigan, if they were 7-0 right now, okay, like, but of course they had the Pitt and they lose to Western Michigan. But like I wouldn't be sitting here like pounding the table like they should be a top 4 team because they're not.
Right.
You put Pitt against Alabama, they're going to get boat raced. It's not even going to be close.
Sure. Yeah.
They're just not in that league. There's only a select group of teams that are in that conversation. And like people think Pitt should be, people think Penn State should be, but the reality is they're just not.
Right.
They're never, and they're probably never gonna be. But
yeah.
Penn State certainly thinks they should be because they're paying James Franklin's like one of the top 5 paid coaches in the country right now.
Oh wow.
So Penn State's spending the money.
Right.
They're right up there with spending the money with like Alabama and LSU and like all these other teams that you talk about that get into that conversation. But
right.
I mean, the reality is, it's the same reality Pitt has. who wants to play at Penn State? Who wants to go to Happy Valley?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like, what top tier college recruit wants to go to Happy Valley? It's in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Sure.
And I don't say there's a knock against Penn State, but that's just the reality of college football nowadays. Like, these kids don't look at, like, the history of your program. They just look at, you know, what have you done for me lately? Well, these are the teams that have won lately, you know?
Yeah.
And you look like there are some that rise and then fall back again, like a Florida State or an LSU. Like, they'll be good for a year or two and then they'll fall back down. But, like, yeah, I look at those schools, especially like Florida State. Like, Florida State was a dominant program for years.
Like USC.
Yeah. Miami. Like, look at, like, Miami stinks. They've stunk for years. But, like, you think back to, like, the 90s and the early 2000s. I mean, they were the fucking U.
Yeah, right.
You know, but you know, they don't pull in the money like Bama does. You know,
Or Georgia.
Like, I see they give like these tours, like these virtual tours of like, well, here's the locker room in Alabama, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is better than my house.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Like, you know, it's like a wall of like TVs all connected, like. You know, these are all where all of our PlayStations are hooked up so the kids can play against each other. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, it's a wall of TVs. You're like, holy shit. You know. Yeah, they've got.
It's funny because they give them all this shit, right? I mean, they do. I mean, they are hooked up at those big schools.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, you know, Rocky Ford training equipment and shit for every single player, and like, it's fucking nuts. TVs above the treads and crazy ice bath type things and jacuzzis, and you know, they're treated like fucking millionaires. Truly.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they are. But you know, you get in these smaller schools, and you know, you get in these smaller schools, even, you know, on any level, and you got some coach, you know, buying this kid lunch or taking him out, you know, taking him for a drive home, and they're fucking all over him. Like, oh, that's illegal. You can't be doing that. You can't be doing any of that. Meanwhile, you know, at Wayne Manor, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God.
By the way, this room here is the random pussy room. You just go in there and get some random pussy. You know, like,
exactly.
Yeah. Like, holy hell.
Phase up, boys.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, in there, I mean, the school is giving them everything.
Yeah.
As long as they don't connect it to the boosters, they're okay. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But the boosters, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I don't think, you know, I know there's a lot of shade there, but there are some actually honest people out there that just want to try to give somebody some help. You know what I mean? And boy, if they get caught giving them any kind of help, like, here's $100, just, you know, get some new shoes or something, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, your poor college, whatever. Oh, they're all over them. Meanwhile, at Bruce Wayne's Manor over here, Wayne Manor, you know, the kid has 10 pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Well, and I mean, that's where, like, the name and likeness.
When they have to, but they won't touch those big schools.
But that's where, like, okay, that's where, like, the name and likeness rights come in. Like, so now all of a sudden, I, as a college student, have control over my own name and likeness, and I can use it however I see fit. So, like, for the first time ever, like, I'm watching that game yesterday, and, like, people were wearing, like, shirts with Kenny Pinkett's name on it because he's selling it. Like, he partnered with some company to sell, like, sweatshirts with his name and, like, you know, Heisman, you know, Kenny for Heisman and shit like that, like, which has never been done before. Like, you know, so Kenny Pinkett's making money as the quarterback of the University of Pittsburgh off of his name. But, like, again, the problem becomes, like, okay, that second string left tackle, you know, has no opportunity.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like nobody, even the first string left tackle, nobody wants to like, hey Bob, we've got a great deal for you. No. I mean, so like this name and likeness stuff is like great, but only for certain players.
Right. Running backs, wideouts.
Yeah. Like those name
quarterbacks, linebackers.
Maybe if I'm a 20, maybe if I'm like a 22-year-old offensive lineman, I'm like going to a bar and like saying like, hey, I'll be your official spokesperson. Like,
right.
That would be like the best I could do. Like, you give me $50, I'll show up on Tuesdays.
Yeah, right. Right. No, I agree.
Yeah.
That's the thing about, it's funny. You listen to all the quarterbacks and everything like that throughout the NFL throughout the years. And say what you want about Ben or not, but he always gives credit to his O-line.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he is very, like, close to that O-line, no matter who it is.
Yeah. Like, I remember, like, in Super Bowl 30, like, that was, like, his first thing was, like, hey, O-line. Like, because, like, everybody was, like, ragging on, like, oh, this offensive line is horrible. And they're like, he's like, no, they're my boys.
Yeah, but, I mean, like, he's always with them. I mean, like, he gives a lot of credit to his O-line, which you don't hear that often. And that's given, like, and he shells out a lot of credit to those linemen.
Yeah.
I've heard it over and over and over and over.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
But I think that's actually kind of nice. Versus it being all about me. And Ben's not really like that. He is when he loses. But when he wins, it's not really about him. He's actually pretty,
Well, I mean, he knows how to say all the right things, but on the other side of that, like Mike Pouncey was his best friend.
Yeah.
Like he does befriend like the offensive line. He's like, him and the offensive line are like boys.
Right.
So like I do think that, like, you're right. Like, I've heard other offensive linemen over the years that he's had talk about, like, Ben's just one of the boys.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, like, I don't see him like, hanging out with the wide receivers or the running backs. I think he's hanging out with the big fellas.
He does, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've heard about him going out to drink, stuff like that in Pittsburgh. Yeah. It's with that line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't hang around, from what I understand, like, he doesn't hang around anybody like real flashy like Brown. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't.
No. Yeah.
It's just the O-line. You know what I mean? It's weird.
I can respect that. But at the same time, how much porn was he watching with those boys too? You heard about that? Yeah.
Yes. Whatever.
Yeah. Hey, whatever works.
It's his life, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely chosen wisely, and he's chosen unwisely, and he's chosen wisely, and I think he chose wisely as far as his career goes.
I mean, he straightened the shit out.
He did, and he's making money. I mean, he'll be set for life.
Yeah. I mean, it's that funny thing of, like, what does he do next? Like I look at, oftentimes I look at like great quarterbacks, and like you look at like Drew Brees, he has this great personality. Now he's on NBC, and
he's too ugly for TV. If that's what you're going. I'm just kidding.
Like, but it's like, okay, like,
I'm kidding about that.
Peyton Manning and Eli Manning are like, they're these, bright personalities. They're doing like that ESPN Monday Night Manning, which is like great to watch.
Right.
Tom Brady's the one guy. Is like when he retires, he doesn't have to do shit, But he's still like, right. he's got an interesting enough personality. Like if he wanted to do TV, he could.
And he's got a look to him.
Yeah.
Brett Favre, same way, had a look to him. Marino has a look to him.
Right. Like
Ben looks like Cowher.
Yeah. Like
Cowher doesn't stand out when you look at that TV, and you see Sims. I mean, you see all these people on TV, and then there's Cowher. You're like, what the fuck's that all about? And then you hear him talk. It's like, it's so like, It's so weird. He's
Yeah.
just such the opposite. He's like the little black duck of the group. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the ugly duckling or whatever.
But like I don't
But
see like a career like after
nah.
football for Ben. He's gonna have to like, okay, I need to do something else.
Yeah, but who thought that what's his name? Everybody loves what's his name? Dallas quarterback.
Tony Romo.
Yeah, people love Romo.
I know, but he's got personality.
Like, really? He does. He's really made a name for himself. I can't even believe I'm even saying that.
Like I never like Tony Romo was a guy like he was the quarterback of the Cowboys, so I automatically hated him. But like listening to him like over the years, like even before he retired, I'm like, he seems like he'd be a cool guy to like, hang out with, like have a beer with.
Yeah,
you know.
And that's how
I
it comes
can see
across
myself
on TV.
like hanging out with Tony Romo and like enjoying myself.
Right.
Like I'm like, so what was Jessica Simpson like? I bet she looks good naked, right? And it'd be like, yeah,
Yeah, right. I think, I don't know. I like someone else. I just hate it. Like Collinsworth is the worst. And so, but he's always been the worst. You know what I mean? Like I don't never see myself like having a conversation with him ever.
I don't feel that way about Chris Collinsworth.
I do. I can't.
I know nobody fucking likes him, but I do. I think my only problem with Chris Collinsworth is you can tell whenever he calls a Steelers game, he has a very hard time complimenting the Steelers.
Oh, I know.
Because he got, paintbrushed by them so many times in his career.
Right.
So I get that. And so even like all these years later, he still has like this, like, the Steelers, they look good. I don't know. I get that.
He bends over for any team that's playing the Steelers.
Right.
He does. It's
at the same time, like if I watch any other game and he calls other than a Steeler game, he is full of information. Like he does like so much fucking homework. Like he breaks down tape of both teams. Like he is very informative, and I think he brings a lot to the when calling a game other than a Steeler game.
Yeah, what happens to him when he's on a Steeler game? It's just like
it's like
it's awful.
It's that whole thing of like, oh man, they paintbrushed me so fucking much. Like all those years of just like getting like Carnell Lake and Rod Woodson in my face all day long.
I've seen signs that say "fuck you, Collinsworth."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like he can't be objective calling a Steeler game because he hates them so fucking much. Like, and it's funny because he doesn't feel that way about the Browns,
right?
But and the Browns were better than the Steelers at that time, But still, it's like he just doesn't have that hatred for the Browns. It's like, fuck, I hate the Steelers.
It's because we hit harder.
Yeah. That's just like years ago, like back in the day, like in the 80s and like into the 90s, I think like they had an announcer. His name was Bob Trumpy. Bob Trumpy played for the Bengals back in the 70s. And Bob Trumpy, like whenever he got stuck calling a Steeler game, like you could just tell he was like angry about it. Like he was just like, yeah, Chuck Noll, he's a good coach. Fuck him.
Yeah. I don't know. You got to give props to those recruiters back then. They're the ones that put those teams together.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Spotting these guys out on, that's crazy.
That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, true.
Long overdue to be in the Hall of Fame too. I mean, like he was the first guy to start recruiting like those historically black colleges and stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you look at like the 72 draft of the Steelers, that has like 9 Hall of Famers in it or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, Stallworth was like from a historically black college. Somebody else, I think Donnie Shell was, Mel Blunt. Like these guys weren't like, they weren't playing at like powerhouse schools. He was scouring like everywhere.
Yeah.
and he found these guys. I mean, they're all Hall of Famers now. And you look at that, like that class, the 72 class is considered probably the greatest draft class ever. You know, and it was all Bill Nunn back then, and like the scouting that he did.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, holy football.
Yeah.
That
might be the
whole podcast was football.
Holy football. Well, is there anything you'd like to add to the proceedings there, sir?
No, I'm good, son.
I will remember there are a number of different ways you can reach out and touch us. You can send us an email, like Thad does each and every week, but we don't read it. And an email address is pittsburghnerd@yahoo.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Pittsburgh Nerd. We're very easy to find. I do put out a vlog every Wednesday and Saturday. So search Pittsburgh Nerd on YouTube. You'll find what I have, my thoughts there as well. And again, I want to thank Todd Wolfson from Just Buried Productions. And, of course, our friends at the Nerd Corner for hosting us last week. We're looking forward to doing that again. I think tentatively, unless Ian tells me otherwise, we're looking at November 20th.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, November 20th at the Nerd Corner.
Yeah. I'm checking for sure.
Yeah, Ian's checking for sure. So while he checks the schedule to verify that, so we're looking at November 20th. Again, we'll probably, around 5 o'clock. I'll be there 4:30ish. Quick story. Yeah. Okay, we're good for that. The 20th. Okay. Yeah. So quick story about the Nerd Corner last week. I want to get this in because I felt like a total dick.
Okay.
So I walk in the Nerd Corner, and I'm kind of looking around because like the table, like again, the place evolves and the tables were behind stuff that we were sitting at, and there's this big guy, big bushy beard, long hair. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, how are you?" I don't know if he's a customer. I don't know if he's an employee. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? Good to see you." I just walk on back and there's Thad, and I say, "Hey," to Thad, and the dude comes back over. He's like, "You don't recognize me. Here's my fucking cousin Joe."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I felt like a total dick.
Wow. You are a dick.
I am a dick. I'm like, it's this mountain man look he's got rolling with. I'm like, I didn't even recognize you. I feel like a total asshole.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in like 2 years. So, but still, it's no excuse. Like, I'm just like, oh, man. I'm an ass. So, but yeah, so November 20th, we're going to be at the Nerd Corner. I hope my cousin Joe will show up after I totally didn't know who the fuck he was.
Hey, you're probably banned.
I am. That side of the family probably fucking hates me right now. He probably went back and told my Aunt Marcy, he's like, "You didn't even fucking recognize me." Like, looked at me like a customer.
A customer.
Didn't even introduce himself to me.
Treated me like a schlep.
Yeah. So I am sorry, Joe. I know you listened to the show. I hope you got this deep and you heard this because I feel awful about it. So November 20th, 5 p.m.-ish, we will be recording. Always a good time. Hope you'll come out and say hello.
Yeah.
And as always, I want to thank you, the listener, for checking us out each and every week. Can't thank you enough for that. We greatly appreciate your support.
Yeah, for sure.
And on that note, the dreamer has awakened.
Peace.